mile distance, first by the girls and then the boys. We get set for a couple of phenomenal miles. Chance for us to go back to 2014 to see the meet record set in the girls' mile by Serafini.
This is the girls' 1 mile run. On the outside, that is Serafini.
Serafini's trying to push the pace a bit.
And man,
no one's catching her right now.
Serafini, 4:39.
Wow.
Great to go back and see some of those legendary performances for this event, which was sorely missed during the pandemic when they weren't able to host an event in person, and genuine excitement from everyone involved here to have the opportunity to get this thing back up and running. Fans in the stands as well, and I'm sure they are in eager anticipation for what's to come here shortly with this girls' 1 mile. Plenty of talent at the high school level, and here they will be on display in this girls' race, Lara.
And one of those to be watching for is Mia Barnett, the senior from Crescenta Valley High School in California. She's committed to the University of Virginia. That's where she will continue her running career, track and cross country. Barnett has run 4:39.14 this season, second fastest mile we saw in 2021 among high school girls. The U.S. lead is 4:38.14 by Addie Wiley, who we saw just finished second a bit ago in the 800. So Mia Barnett has an opportunity to not only make a run at the victory, but likely eyeing that record that we just saw a recap of that Serafini set back in 2014.
So look at the start list. Last names first if you're playing at home, as 13 hip numbers on your screen. A couple of scratches as I look there, so it won't be a full field of 13 athletes when the gun sounds. 4 laps of this track. Looks like there's 12 women at the line to start. Kate Peters of Lake Oswego was scheduled to run as hip 12 and not on the start list as we get set for the girls' 1 mile. Don't need a false start in a mile.
We had enough of those a couple weeks ago.
And a little bit of a collision sport there for the first few strides as everybody tries to find room to run. And Lara, in the early going here, we would fully expect the pace to be at a pace where maybe everyone will be kind of running single file.
Yeah, you absolutely expect that everyone is going to not want to do what we're seeing right now, seeing a lot of those athletes clustered well out into lane 2, exerting a ton of extra energy, seeing a little bit of jostling, some elbowing as they do get into position. Mia Barnett staying out of any trouble. And now we're finally seeing Juliette Whittaker. She has that sticker 13. She was originally in the 8, shifted over to the mile. So the 800-meter specialist stepping up to test herself at the longer mile distance among a really stacked field that includes Caroline Wells from Winter Springs, Florida, 446 miler. This is the point where you really are going to need, after this first lap, things to settle in a little bit on that backside.
See Whittaker on the outside of Wells with all the athlete names on the back of the singlet, but again, the similar kits for all these athletes coming in at the hospitality of Brooks Running, all having a chance to wear a Brooks kit today, so numbers help us immensely as we help tell you who's in the lead. And at this point, hip 5, Caroline Wells from Winter Springs, Florida. Whittaker on the outside. And then on the inside, it is Barnett.
Also, keep your eye on hip 3, Margot Appleton. She will be a teammate at University of Virginia alongside Mia Barnett this fall. She's run for 9:28.94 for 3,000 meters. So one of those great endurance athletes. She has the longevity that you would expect her to start pushing the pace a little bit to keep things honest, as you have a handful here still up in the mix at the halfway point.
Yeah, let's call it 2:22 at the halfway mark in this girls' 1 mile. Also up near the front, Ellie Shea of Belmont, Massachusetts, the freshman. She's currently there in third with the sunglasses on the inside rail, trying to find rhythm and room on the inside, kind of right along that inside line. Not a rail on the backstretch or the main straightaway. So kind of need to be careful keeping yourself in that lane 1 position. Now she floats back into 5th. But it's Barnett and Whittaker.
The middle part of her race is what her coach, Mia Barnett's coach, said was her strongest. She owns top 4 performances in California state history in both the 1600 and 3200 for high school girls. Her coach, Rob Evans, said she has felt really confident in her workouts. We were excited to get her back into the mile at the state championship after focusing on some 800s and some 3200s. So she gained a little bit of speed in the 800s, and she's going to need it as Juliette Whittaker is right up there in the mix.
And Riley Stewart, the junior from Englewood, Colorado, is currently in third, the tallest of the 3 at the front, with Whittaker on the backstretch along with Barnett. And Whittaker looking very relaxed in a slightly longer distance than we're used to seeing her. And now you can tell she is slightly to the lead and now has the advantage and finding pace in the legs with a half lap to go.
It's going to be hard for anyone to hold that closing kick that Juliette Whittaker has with that 2:01 800 meter speed.
Stewart now into 2nd, but Whittaker taking control of this race. Again, the meet record, 4:39.42. We're going to see that one disappear on this day as Whittaker's going to take the win in 4:38 high. We'll get it official here in a moment, but I should be correct in thinking that is a new meet record. In fact, now I am corrected. It is not. 4:40.66. With that running clock on the screen, you kind of make an educated guess that you came across the line in time. But a phenomenal last lap for Whittaker in taking the win here in Renton.
Incredibly smart racing from Whittaker. She used the opportunity when she had it to move into the lead. You saw that Barnett did so much of the work up front early on in this race, and Whittaker stayed really patient. And when she made that move on the back stretch, she did it so quickly, used a little bit of a burst to be sure she was able to get around, position herself on that rail before going into the turn. So she had the energy, had the momentum to drive off of that last turn, slingshot her way into those final 100 meters and use that elite kicking speed that she has. Now it looks corrected, Paul. I think you were correct. They've now adjusted it, so do trust your eye, my friend.
You know, I've called some races back in the day, and I sort of felt like I would get validated eventually. The timer has revised the final result. The first place time that we were given was actually for Riley Stewart, 4:40.66. That was the second place time, and indeed, Whittaker is the new meet record holder. Another meet record goes down. This one previously held by Serafini that was set back in 2014. 4:38.65, the winning time.
What a way